we go.
I want to today commemorate an old friend of mine, Tony Peterson, who sadly died a few days ago from heart problems. A guy in his mid-50s, an American bloke who came to Australia in the early 70s along with a wave of other Americans who came here to be teachers. Tony taught in the Latrobe Valley in Morwell for a while. He ended up becoming a Morwell councillor, and he went on to be the Labor candidate for the federal seat of Gippsland in 1983. And he was famous then for doing a bit of campaigning on horseback, which of course attracted a bit of attention, and he actually put in a serious campaign and got a pretty big swing to Labor, I think about 6 or 7%. He then eventually moved to Melbourne. I got to know him while he lived in the Latrobe Valley. Had a fantastic house right up on the top of Giralung Junction where you could see the entire Latrobe Valley out there, and he had these big picture windows. The house was really great when I stayed with him to be able to wake up in the morning and just literally look out across the entire Latrobe Valley. Well, he eventually moved to Melbourne and started work for the Nurses Federation. This would have been in the mid to late 1980s, and did a long period with the ANF as an industrial officer, doing all the kind of typical industrial things, union things that people did. He was a member of the Labor Party, member of the left, and a really strong, passionate advocate for social justice and for decency and for fairness for people. He later in life became a lawyer and had established his own company, doing quite well with a small firm in the city that was his own inspiration. And in between times he did the odd thing like ran a restaurant, which sadly I never got the opportunity to eat at. Tony was the kind of guy who to me epitomised all the good things about Americans. We're used to hearing bad things about Americans in Australia, but he epitomised all of the great things about Americans. He was in your face, he was opinionated, but he was a fantastic guy who was deeply passionate, committed to helping other people, really smart. He loved to talk, he loved to debate, he loved to argue, but he would never hold a grudge against anybody. He was always looking to just explore ideas and to fight political battles on behalf of people who were hard done by, who needed support and were getting a raw deal. It's tragic to see him go. I'll miss him, and lots of other people will miss him. He was a larger-than-life figure that made a really big contribution to his adopted country, and to me, and I think lots of other people, showed that for all the things we get carried away with about the George Bushes of the world and some of the terrible things that are done in America's name, there are great Americans and they're a great country. And so to me he was always a great American Australian and a fantastic bloke who was totally genuine, totally committed to his politics, to the Labor Party and to the wider cause of social justice.